Oh, I'm on the wrong side. There we go. Durag Diaries. Yo, what's good, people? Welcome back. Well, I should say welcome to Spurs of the Moment. It's a new show, new name, putting things together, scheduling stuff. We're getting better at this. That's what we are, progressing. But today we do have a very, very special guest. For those that don't know, appearances on TNT, appearances on Premier League. Last word on Spurs special guest. This is a real bit. I feel pleasured to be in her presence right now. For her to make her way to Durag Diaries podcast. No, but all jokes aside, this is really my friend, my good friend, Christina. It's a pleasure to have you. Honestly, how have you been?
Mate, this feels like old school back in the day when we were all joined onto what's it called?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Oh my gosh.
People don't know. Going way
Clubhouse.
back.
That's how it all started for us, man. That is literally how us beginning to speak about Tottenham, and then it just grew from there. Like all of us individually. Like, look at you, you've got your own pod now. Me, I just
many people
chat.
like. If you actually look at that Clubhouse groups, like all the people that we used to be in groups with, we used to speak with on a day-to-day. So many people doing so well for themselves. Even like Hamza's got his own thing. He's blowing
so
up in the Man
now.
City world. Like he's huge in Man City world. Trying to think who else. There's just so many different people doing their own thing. Just
It's
in
crazy.
Good places. Oh, it's crazy, man. Came a
great
long
times. Way. It actually made COVID enjoyable because we honestly we'll sit there, watch football. Obviously, we weren't able to go to the games then, and then we would sit on a clubhouse and just have a good chat about football in general. Now, look, now we actually have to go to the stadium and actually watch this horrific, performance. But
No, literally that. I do remember when we first come out of lockdown and we went to under Nuno, and it was just like, yo, it's not getting much better.
Wow.
We went through the hard times. We went through the hard times together. And to be fair, we thought we was gonna come out on a better side, but hey, look, Spurs are back where, well, some will say where we belong, but we're back not in a good place. And I suppose it's not good to have you on at this time because it would be nice for you to come on when we're actually feeling good. You can have the positivity, but this seems like it's going to be a bit of a moan today. Both sides.
But this is what fans are about. You stick through it for the hard and the good times.
Yes.
That's what it's all about, man.
For the hard times and the tough times, we're still here. That's what we're here for. But taking it right back to, let's just say, the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get your thoughts, and for some of the people that don't know, what was your prediction for Spurs? What did you expect of us this season?
So, this beginning of the season, I'm going to be completely honest with you here, Jords, and with the situation with Ange, I've been Anging, pretty much throughout since he started. And I was really hoping for something big. I thought this guy, he's come in with fresh ideas. He's got a good philosophy on football. Really exciting to see. Started off well at the beginning of the season with him. And I thought, this is something, it's exciting football, which only lasted for 3 months. And, we've come through horrific injuries now. This season, I feel, has been probably one of the worst, not maybe the worst, but one of the worst that I've seen as a Spurs fan, in terms of performance, injury, everything basically. And now I've come to the conclusion, I feel now is the time that he needs to leave. It's pretty depressing as a Spurs fan going to the games, considering how much money that I've spent going, traveling, if I wanted a drink there, everything. It's just pretty depressing. But at the same time, I love going. I'm a Tottenham fan. I'm passionate. I want my team to win. I want to see you guys. I want to meet you at the Spurs game, have a good chat. That's what the whole point is. That's why we all love football. So it's escapism for a lot of people. But it's now come to the point now where it's getting ridiculous. And as you know, Jords, I'm part of Change for Tottenham, and that's what we're trying to aim now to do, which I'm sure we'll talk over, about the protest that's coming up, that we have organised, that we are organising, sorry. So because it's come to the point now, I am desperate for change, and that's just not with Ange himself that is higher above Daniel Levy and Enoch, because that's where I feel the roots of all of our problems start from there.
Yeah.
So I hate to say it, but yeah, I feel, because I've generally been so passionate about Ange, and I've said it so well, like I said it all the time on Last Word on Spurs, about how much I love Ange and all of this, and now it's sad for me to say that
That's just time
it's time to go. And I said it with the injuries. You've got to give him a chance now. He's had our biggest players are done. They're not on the pitch. Like he's got to work around it. You've got to give him a chance at least. And now we've got them back, and it's still terrible. It's still not changed. There's nothing that's changed about it. And that Bournemouth game, that was it for me. It was the last straw for me. So I just want this season to be done now. Europa League tomorrow, which to me, if we're out, that's me completely done for this season. So yeah, that's my thoughts on
I think most of us can agree there. Definitely, if we go out of the Europa League, I'm gonna be streaming because I have to, but I'll be honest, guys, you're not gonna see the usual Jords, because like Christina said, I think one thing me and Christina are very similar on is we want to be positive about the team, and we are gonna be positive until we no longer can be, until everything starts showing you and it's no, all the bad signs. But up until that point, we're gonna keep saying no, it's gonna come good, it's gonna come good. You got to delude yourself a bit as a fan to think that you're gonna come out of it. And in the same way, in the same sense for Ange, I think for so long many of us thought when he gets the injuries back, all right, look, maybe it's gonna work itself out, maybe it's gonna, and then it just didn't. It didn't work itself out. We had the same thing last season when we had players come back. They never found the same form, and sort of again looking like it's going to be the same thing this season because everyone's made their way back, but still there hasn't been no change in the performances.
And even so as well, they're still getting injured. There's still players that are coming back, and then they're off getting injured again.
Do you know what? On that, Danso injured, announcement officially today, but did come out yesterday. Hamstring, just like many others. I mean,
wow.
What's your thoughts on that, Christina? Is it Ange's fault that these players are all picking up hamstrings, or do you think it's just a coincidence?
Listen, hamstring, it just didn't surprise me. As soon as that guy signed for us, he was straight onto the pitch. So it wouldn't surprise me at all that he's now injured. I just think that rotation, it needs to be more often, because the style of Ange's play is so intense for the Premier League that these players cannot handle it. That's just what I believe now. And, it's a repetitive thing. I don't understand how else. And it's weird with all these rumours about the players now where they're wanting to go elsewhere to sort out their injuries as well. So I don't know with our staff.
That's really strange, isn't it? Like that. For one, Romero called out the Argentinian medical team. Never once mentioned Spurs. Van der Ven's obviously gone to see specialists because Spurs' medical team has given him poor feedback, clearly, because he's come back from injury twice. And some people are going to say it's not a re-injury, but technically it is, because he came back, then he was out, and then came back, and then he was out again. So he re-injured himself twice. And I think there's also someone else in our team that's
Richarlison.
That's it, Richarlison. He went to the Brazil medical team to seek further help. So it's a reoccurring theme. And obviously we already knew that there was some medical problem or problems with the medical staff at Tottenham, with the head of medical and so on leaving prior to Ange coming in. But this goes to paint an even worse picture at this moment in time, because like you said, the way that Ange plays football doesn't help at all. It doesn't. But at the same time, if we had good medical staff, then it probably wouldn't be as bad as it is. But clearly they're not advising the players right. And as we saw, Danso just 6 weeks into playing Tottenham way, he's injured, and it's
just bizarre.
He is.
It's bizarre. I think it's a combination of a lot of things, though. Don't think it's just Ange. It's
definitely,
as we discussed with our staff members, and also I think VAR as well has a hit on it. I think the players are always very conscious about with VAR whilst they're playing. It's a combination of things, but at the same time, nobody seems to be wanting to discuss about it or sort out this situation. We're just happy to allow our players to get injured, and then that puts us back even more. So it's just a weird subject that they don't really want to tackle for some reason. But yeah, it's becoming a major issue. It has been a major issue at Tottenham this season. And we've lost so many of our big players. Sound like they've bloody died, but the football has died. That's literally what it is.
The football's definitely died.
It's definitely died, and it's just such a shame. And that's why I feel with tomorrow it's so big, because I feel like I repeat myself when I say this, because we get into ourselves in a situation where it's like Tottenham have a good chance this year. Oh, we've actually got a massive chance, to be able to do this. And It's the same with this Europa League. We should be one of the strongest teams, but I can't see it happening now. I really can't, with the performances that we're carrying on at the moment. It just does not look good. But Europa League, we should be all over this, guys. Like, it's so important to see us get a trophy. It's been so long. It's draining. We're starving. We're absolutely starving. And I hope tomorrow we really do perform, and just, get into the next stage. That's it. But like I said, if we're out of it, I feel that's me done, completely done.
No, definitely there. It's not looking good as well. 1-0 down, obviously, getting top. But we're gonna get into that game. I want to bring it back just a little bit before we speak about the game. January. We know, obviously, in January, at the start of the January window, we targeted a few players. We'd then gone on to sign Kinski, Tell, and Danso, the name we just spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
Was you happy with the January transfer window?
I mean, a lot of the players, I'll admit, I've not really watched before.
Yeah.
The ones that I think Danzo's actually really impressed me. I think he's really good. I think he's been really good. Tell, I need to see more of him in order for me to make a decision. Feel he lacks a bit of confidence. I can tell he's trying, and he wants to get a goal. I think he's already had one, hasn't he?
The Aston Villa game.
Yeah, Villa game. But you can see he really is trying. He wants to get in there, and I like his spirit as well. I feel like the way he talks to the fans and about the club off the pitch is nice to see. It's good. But yeah, there just needs to be a bit more on the pitch that I need to see with him. And who else is it we signed? Oh my gosh.
Quincy. TK.
Yeah, I mean, he started his first game. I thought he was brilliant. It was a Liverpool game, and I went to that game, and honestly, we all turned around to each other where I sit in the south stand, and we were like, "Oh my god, finally!" We're like,
goalkeeper. We all thought we had like a superstar on our hands after that performance. Our first clean sheet in months it was as well.
And he was putting some great, the way he was passing the ball to the players, it was quick, it was fast, it was rapid. But he seemed to have downgraded a little bit, but that's not to say that it's not there. So I feel like there's got to be something with it. He's still young as well. This is the thing. I hate when fans, they really go into players, and they're young. These kids are young, and they're the ones that are most hungry out of all this squad. If I'm honest, you've got Archie, you've got Spence, all of these guys. Because when you look at the older ones, it's almost like they're too comfortable at the club now.
Yeah.
And they've got it very easy, their life at Tottenham. You go to the academy and everything, not the academy, the training ground and everything, and they have a very decent life, these guys. They're very comfortable. And I think that's where I really appreciate the young guys, because they truly do want to achieve well. So and to be honest as well, I feel like they've been our best players so far this season. I think Archie Gray has been amazing. Jed Spence has probably been my favourite player so far this season. Lucas, I think, is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, big up to the young guys, because I feel like they're the ones that are carrying us so far this season.
No, I agree. I feel like the young players have shown just that. I feel like it's only natural with young players, but they just show that little bit of extra fight, don't they? They have that
Yeah,
just that because they've always got something to prove. They know
yeah,
that they're
that's it.
their literally career is on the line. They've got to
Hmm.
prove something, and not just to Spurs team, but they know if they have a good performance, it's going to look good for them to potentially get a move elsewhere like that. So they've always got that extra bit of fight. You see, Jed Spence, as soon as he came in, it was like he had a chip on his shoulder, which he did technically because he got told from numerous of times, and there was this
Hmm.
stupid narrative out there that he had attitude problems, which has been completely debunked because even Andrew's come out and said like he's had his head down, he's
Yep,
focused, and he is the reason why he's in the team right now. He's just
100%.
undeniable. He undeniably good. So Jed has been a breakout star for us. One thing we can definitely take positively into the next season. But outside of Jed, the other youngsters, who's been more impressive to you? I mean, obviously there's Bergvall, there's Archie Gray. Probably there's probably only those two. The rest of them haven't really had enough game time because Mikey Moore's sort of being phased out throughout the season, and
I was
rightly
going to
so.
mention Mikey Moore. I'm really hoping I see him tomorrow. I want him. He needs more time. He needs more game time. And because I think there's a lot of hope for him for sure. Just with with Jed Spence as well, his attitudes with this season I think has been great because he's had a downfall at Tottenham, but he could have easily just been like, you guys, you've not played me at all. I'm just going to lay back and not bother to do my thing, but he's turned it around, and he's gone out there and he's been so far the best player of the season for me. So fair play to him because he could have, had a really bad attitude for the way he was treated at Tottenham. So yeah, who else would I say that has really impressed me? I'm not going to say Brennan Johnson because I know I'll get absolute hate. But
Well, no, we're going to
but
talk about him later. We're definitely because we all know
I'm
that
sure you'll be
one of Brennan
so
Johnson's
don't
biggest
worry,
fans, but
don't worry.
But
But
Archie Gray, I suppose, Archie Gray's not he's been played out of position a lot, so I think it would be harsh to give him any criticism. But have you been impressed with how he's? Because I think for him, one thing that's been very apparent to me is like when you're talking about Brennan Johnson, like a huge comparison, well, I
mhm,
say contrast is that when Brennan Johnson came into the Spurs team, you could tell he's like the confidence just wasn't there. He was really shy.
yeah,
It was like he just wasn't himself for probably the whole of the first season. This season,
yeah,
he looks like he's a bit more comfortable and looks like, yeah, I'm a
100%.
Spurs player. But
Yeah,
Archie Gray from minute one was just, you never saw
straight in.
any, like, his head was just focused, so composed on the ball. What do you think of that?
I think he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and I think he's going to get better and better. He, yeah, when he's on the ball, you feel confident, and you're like when you're watching. Whereas Brennan Johnson, like I do love Brennan, like I do, and I have such high spirit for him, I really do. But at this point, I think he's just so low in his confidence that when he's got pace, but I don't know why he just does not use it. It's just
Yeah,
ridiculous. And it's so frustrating because we're sitting there watching it. Literally, go, run for the ball, go for it. Stop stopping it or
he had that
playing it
moment in
back.
the last game against Bournemouth, didn't he? Where he was literally in front of the player, but it was just like, how do they manage to catch up? Like you're way faster than pretty
Don't
much
get
all the
it.
players on the pitch. Like I don't get how they can catch you.
I don't know if he's being told not to do it. I honestly, I don't understand. That's the whole point of why we wanted someone like him because we needed pace. We
Yeah,
needed someone like that who's going to go in forward. And even if it isn't to get a goal, it's to get an assist at least. It's just anything. Just get that ball going forward. But I don't know what it is. Just something just triggers and he just stops completely. And it just makes the game go so much slower. So I don't know if someone's telling him. I have no idea if it's just a confidence issue, but it doesn't help him at all. And it's just a shame because I feel like he's got a hell of a lot more to give than what he's been shown recently. But that's not to say, he can get the tap-ins at least. I know everyone says like, oh, that's all he can do, but it's a goal. It's a goal at the end of the day. 50 million. I know. I hear you on that, but that's nothing to do with him at the end of the day. That's to do with the club. If you have your anger against that, that's to do with the club. Nothing to do with Johnson. And that's what I've said before about that.
think that's about all players, isn't it, with price tags? I know,
Yeah.
like, as fans, we do hold players to a certain standard when they put that price tag on their head, because naturally that's what we look at them. Like, we've spent this amount of money on you, we expect a certain result. But at the same time, like you have said there, it's the clubs that agree those deals. And we all know,
100%.
like, the reason why clubs, like, we did get fleeced. Like, I think every fan will admit we got fleeced. Like, he's not a 50 million pound player, but at the end of the day, Spurs paid that amount of money. He's now, whether you want to agree with it or not, he's Tottenham's top goal scorer right now. So, like, as much as I don't like Brennan Johnson, I can't deny the fact and the stats that show somehow, some way, Andrew's managed to almost get 20 goals out of him this season. If he ends up finishing on 20 goals in all competitions, I mean, that's what we wanted to. Like we said, we need to sign players that can score 20 goals in all comps. If he's doing that, you can't really deny him. Whether you think he's a good all-round player or not, that's fine. But if he's scoring goals, you can't deny that.
I think he's even a top scorer for us in the Europa League as well, I believe. I think he is. I think he's got about 5 goals in the Europa League. I might be
even.
I
think
wrong.
you are right, because I think he's got 9 in the Premier League and it might be 5 in the Europa League. You might be right about that. He's got a few. But that's the thing. I think, like Daniel said here, I think that should be something that should be looked into by the manager. Johnson was never a winger, like you said there. He played more centrally in Forest when he was at Championship level. So, and even when you just look at the way that he plays, he's a lot better when he's in and around the box, when he's making
100%.
movement and running off the shoulder of defenders. So it'd be interesting to see if he does play in that role. I think in the Ange system it wouldn't work, but is Ange going to be here long enough? That's another question. But on something that you did say, we did say there wasn't much good news, but actually there was good news that come out today, talking about change for Tottenham and changes that have been happening. Spurs have frozen the ticket prices for next season. And correct me if I'm wrong, did they bring back concessions as well? I did see something about that.
I believe so. But obviously, I'm one of the members on Change for Tottenham, and they announced our protest, and we thought it was quite a coincidence that the club then decided today to announce about this them freezing the season ticket prices, which is great. You know, it shows that they're listening. I hope so, because, you know, as I said at the beginning, so many fans, you know, it's ridiculous how much money we have been put towards, you know, this club, and especially when you see this whole season's performance, you just think, really, am I really putting this much my hard-earned cash for this? Because that's just how we all feel at the moment. So it was really good to hear that they've done that, but that does not mean that we stop there. You know, we still want change, because I've said this so many times, this situation seems to happen every 18 months at Tottenham. It's just a repeated cycle. And that's why we want to continue this. We want to be shouting this out loud. We want the fans to know about it. And so we've organised a protest that is now going to be happening, I believe, on the 6th of April, which is going to be at the Southampton game at home. So if you guys are interested, do come along. It's going to be, you know, the same as the last protest, which I'm so thankful for that protest, because honestly, it was such a good turnout. We did not expect it. The amount of support that we've had from people, and the amount of support, like even online, from international fans who showed their appreciation, and just spreading awareness about the protest. It's been absolutely amazing. So we hope to, you know, this is what we're going to do. We've got to continue it, got to keep the wheels going. So that's what we're going to do now, is the next protest, and hopefully more will turn up, especially you, Jords, because, where were you?
Do you know what? I generally couldn't make it down to that one. It was like so much going on. I think the trains were off and stuff as well. So I was just like, no, this is gonna be a nightmare trying to get down and get home. But I was one of the people supporting from online. I was telling everyone, make sure you go down. Making sure the people know that this protest is important. It's massive, and like you said there, it's very convenient that the Spurs, but I know that the Spurs team and the people that work there watch like online very closely, because Levy's one of those guys. You can tell he's a very insecure man with that bald head of his. He's definitely looking at everything what everyone says, and I feel like it was far too convenient that they brought out the fact that, oh yeah, we're freezing ticket prices. Yeah, you freeze ticket prices now, but they're already at a certain height where they're fourth highest in Europe anyway.
Yeah.
So freezing them didn't really mean much. It's just like a small win from a bunch of all the other things that Spurs and change for Tottenham have worked on. But that's definitely one thing that I suppose everyone from the protest can be proud of, because that was one of the key points, is that they took away concessions last year with no explanation really. It's disgusting that you don't want to offer people that over the age of 65 cheaper tickets or kids. Like it made no sense why that got taken away. Just again, money grabbing. And like you said, when we go down to the games, everything's expensive. It's not like it's cheap. You buy a drink for £7, you buy some food for £10, you might buy something else. Like, I remember the last time we went, we got tricked. Remember half time we're winning, and we both go to the store. We're like, oh yeah, let's spend some money. Me and the people don't know. We were winning against AS Roma. We're both watching the game. We looked at the stuff inside, like the stands. We're like, oh, that shirt does look nice. Maybe we'll go at halftime. Like, we'll see. Let's just see how the game goes. Halftime, we're winning. We're like, yeah, let's go to the shop.
Let's go, yeah.
We go buy the stuff and come back, and 10 minutes later we concede. Like, that is Spurs for you. Like, they trick you and make you.
We're part of the bloody problem. That's us.
we was part of the problem, but we're now working to try and be a part of the solution. And one of those things, like I said, protest next month is going to be a huge part of that. But also, one thing I was going to ask, because I know you guys have been doing stuff like, has there ever been any thought to, like, because obviously there's loads of international people, loads of people that generally can't make the protest, but maybe there should be like an online feed where people can be at the protest but not at the protest or something like that.
I mean, I run the Instagram account, and I did go live during the protest last time. I mean, I probably should work on it 100% because I'm not very good at this stuff. So, you know, apologies to anyone that did witness it. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. We've got a lot more people now involved. We've got a TikTok account now because I know how big it is, because you youngsters absolutely love it. And on X, we're going to be constantly posting about it because we just want to keep it moving. We don't want, you know, fans to calm down now because of the ticket prices, you know. We just need to make sure that it is just constantly running and everyone's getting the information that they need to know, promote him. So that's what we're going to try and do. And with international fans, there's going to be posters sent out, so you know people can repost and just spread awareness basically on their social media platforms. And yeah, there's going to be, I know there's a lot of talk about these scarves. I know that people were asking about them. Just to confirm, we have nothing to do with them, by the way. But there are people that are selling them. I believe on X there is an account that someone's selling them, I think for around about £14. And if I believe there is going to be some scarves at the protest as well, but we have nothing to do with them because it's quite expensive to actually be able to, you know, with production that getting them shipped over and everything. It's quite complicated. So we decided we don't want to get involved because we don't want to mug the fans off as well because they are quite expensive for it. So yeah, so we're sticking back at that, but we're allowing other people, if they want to do it, they can go ahead and do their thing, selling scarves. So yeah. What else have we got?
I would. Do you know what the thing is with those? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Levy makes the stuff and starts selling it himself. You know, like he's in for any money grabbing scheme. He might have one of his
knitting it himself.
Yeah, like he's probably got someone with like a burner account selling these scarves. He's gonna hike up the price a bit. After like a month of them selling for good, he's gonna be like, yeah, right, double the price.
Great idea.
Though. Like that, Daniel. That would be all Daniel Levy, by the way. He don't care that it's hate on 100%. Him. It's money. Like
there's always going to be a way with how Tottenham make the money. You know, as much we are saying about with them freezing the tickets, right? There's got to be something that they're going to do, like maybe up price, like the food, maybe. I mean, I feel like with the events this year, I feel like there's a hell of a lot more concerts going on. So I feel like they've probably thought, okay, we're going to get our money from elsewhere, so we are able to freeze them, so it keeps the fans a bit quiet. But that's the issue. We don't want to keep quiet. We want to keep going, and that's exactly what we're going to try and do now.
Yeah, no, definitely. We need to make sure that we ramp it up just as much, and don't stop the process. Even when the stuff gets good, even if the football looks better, even if we're going into the Europa League semi-final, we've got to keep the protests coming. We've got to keep the
100%.
energy. So we're gonna make sure we stay on that. And as Christina said, follow Change for Tottenham for any updates, any interactions, anything you want to know. I've reposted it on my Twitter. Christina's reposted it on her Twitter, so you can easily find it on our socials there. Make sure you guys do that. But bringing it back to what is going on currently, football-wise, we do have a game tomorrow. Big game at that, Europa League fixture. Taking it back to the game that when we played over in Holland, obviously that was an absolute nightmare. Some of the people here would already know I'd done the watch along for that. It was probably one of the funniest watch alongs because I went from being so happy to right at the end just telling everyone, yeah, fuck off, get out of my chat. I don't even know why are you guys, I was going, why are you watching me? Why are you guys watching me? Like, I was just going mad. But what was your thoughts on that game, that performance, and obviously how it played out?
Oh my God, it was dry. It was so dry. It was just so dry, painful, and it was just, it wasn't even football I was watching. It was just horrific. I just didn't understand it. And even with the substitutions, there was like nothing really helped. Honestly, I feel like I nearly gave up. I think I did give up like the end of 10 minutes. I just thought this is not worth my time. Like I should be just going back to sleep or something like that. But that's how I feel watching Tottenham right now. I generally can't stand it. I can't bear it. Yet I've paid a ticket tomorrow and I don't know why. I was just on the phone to my dad, just before I came on here, and we were discussing because I'm going with him. We were like, there was no talk of football. It was just literally how much chickens should we order from chicken? That was literally about our conversation. Wasn't even to do with the football at all. But that's how sad.
Chicken, man. Come on.
We love chicken. Well, my dad absolutely loves it, But that's literally what it is. Like, it's just so sad. Like, we can't even talk positively about our football anymore, our club. And that's just literally how down it's now become. Even when you go to the games, the atmosphere is not great. It's dull. Just nobody just seems to want to be there anymore. And it's just a really dull atmosphere, and it makes me so sad that this is how we've turned. And I'm telling you now, hence why we're doing with Change for Tottenham, we're going to be going through this again in 18 months. It's just got to stop. Something's got to be done with it. So that's just how I feel now. I'm just praying to God tomorrow we get something, even just a good performance, to be honest, as well. But we just need to get something out of this Europa. I pray, but
the team needs to wake up, don't they? Because I think one of the biggest things that were apparent last week is just, and even to be fair, for a while, it's just like they've lost the fight. There's a lot of players that have lost that fight. It's like they're not switched on. People don't want to take the responsibility. Like Maddison, that's one player I did want to speak about. Obviously, he had his interview today. A lot of comments, a lot of quotes that have come out. But last week, his performance was dreadful. And then he was on the bench, sitting there complaining, going, son, oh, we always play the same way. Or that, allegedly, that is what he said. Obviously, the voice experts from Twitter were quoting him and all these things, which we don't know whether it's true or not. But regardless, whether what he said or not, he was complaining. He's sitting there moaning after dropping a stinker, and he's considered a senior player. Obviously, today he'd come out and said, I don't mind being the scapegoat, and sort of I saw the fans were buying in. Oh, look at this senior player. Oh, look at the way he's thinking. What did you think? You probably haven't caught the full interview, but you've probably seen some of the sound bites. What did you think of his comments?
Weirdly, just before I got sent a clip of part of the interview, and he's sitting there and he's talking about how people were discussing about him. So I don't know if you remember, I'm pretty sure I had this conversation with you when we signed him about how I felt personally about signing. I was never 100% on Maddison, and I always felt there was just something a bit off with him that I felt did not quite go with Tom. It was just, I think it was more with, I remember Leicester fans always said, whenever he got injured, it took him a hell of a long time to get back to where the player that he is. That's not saying that I feel he is a bad player at all. I just don't know whether if he's actually if he's suited to Tottenham. But he's sitting there and discussing on the interview about, how people, talk about him. But everyone's going to talk. That's what fans do. This is, we've dealt with this for years and years. Of course, we're going to talk if a player, is not performing well. And as much as I feel like Brennan Johnson gets a lot of stick. I actually think to myself, if he's getting stick, why does Maddison not get just as much? Because I feel he's actually I feel like his performance is worse than Brennan Johnson, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't. That doesn't mean that I dislike Maddison. I don't at all. I feel like with the words that he says in the interview is brilliant. But if you think that and you speak like that, why are you not performing and improving yourself on the pitch? It just goes against totally what you're saying. But at the same time, it's so hard to like what he is saying and who he is as a person, because I do think he's great. And he's sitting there and he's saying like, yeah, I feel really good about myself. And I'm like, yeah, of course you do. I mean, look at you. You're looking phenomenal now with your new hair transplant.
His new hair transplant. And I was thinking like, where did that fall? I remember pre-season people were talking about how he's losing hair. And
you know what though? Fair play to him. Like, he can afford it. Loads of guys are doing it at the moment. So fair play to him. He looks great. So
I've got a couple of years, trust me, a couple.
No, you're good, man. You're good, honestly. But it just just perform. Where was the Maddison that we had at that that North London derby that when we drew against them away, and he was brilliant. He was so good. Like, I just want that Maddison back, and he's had plenty of time now since his injury. And it's nothing's clicked. I just, he was good at the Man United game. He got his goal. But a lot of these senior players now that are at Tottenham, you need to buckle up, man, because the youngsters are really like overtaking you already. But, because the drive that they have compared to them is just ridiculous. That I don't know if they just don't understand the history of Tottenham as well. We've been lacking trophies and everything. It's something that is so important to the fans that we want to see and win, a trophy. That when they're performing in the Europa League, it's just like there's just no energy, there's no passion. It's just fun and games for them. They can get to go home in their fancy house and everything, after a loss, but whilst we're drowning in our sorrows. That's the thing. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Maddison actually? Because
I've been, as much as like in contrast to you, when he first came in, I was quite happy about the signing. I was like, yeah, big player, he's shown over the last couple of years, although the Leicester fans did have some of those things to say. I was like always against Spurs. I'd remember he'd score 30 yarders, he'd have some great games, like we'd be beating Leicester and somehow they come back and it's like Jamie Vardy and Maddison have just scored a couple against us, and he always had good games. So I'd always look at those ones and look at the big games, be like, Maddison's always one of the better players for them. But one thing that we didn't see is I can't sit here and say I watched Leicester across the full season. I'd watch the big games and then that's it. And then that's the problem is because we didn't watch him across the full season, you never really got the full judgment of what he was as a player across a full 38-game season. And that for me, because my expectation was so high, he's so far below what I thought he was going to be. I've said literally like the other day, I was like, yeah, I'm willing to cut ties with Maddison, sell him in the summer. All of this stuff, he comes out like he's one of these players when it's going good, like you said, like he's out there going to the dart, he's doing a little dart celebration, telling everyone like the other day, like he gives a lot of talk, and I like arrogant people that are confident and will come out and be a bit abrasive, because that's how I am. I'll come out and chat rubbish all along, and then it might come back to bite me. But the problem with him is the performance does never match up the arrogance he has. He never wants to take on the mantle in these games. Like last week, you're looking at one player to just step up and score a goal. You saw what he done with that free kick. It was like, you got a free kick right on the edge. You're a dead ball specialist and you're passing it to do a 1-2 with like, it's just like you shy away from the big moments at Spurs, and then you come out and like again, I see this interview today, and it's like Maddison's always getting the spotlight off the field. Whenever he's off the pitch, he's always got the spotlight on the pitch.
It's the name. He's got the name. He's got the name.
Yes.
That's why. And he's an English Premier League footballer. Because he's probably one of the he's like in terms of like who he is in the name, he's probably the biggest signing that we've done so far, like in a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the issue. Like, I was so scared. I can't remember who asked me about it when we were talking about when we signed him, but I said like because he's like a well-known name, I'm generally worried that he's gonna drop when he joins us. And that's how I feel like it's just been like that now. And like you said, he gives it large and all that, and I'm here for that. But you've got to continue with it, man. The consistency's not there. You can be doing that every game if you really wanted to. You could really be doing that, and that's the thing at Tottenham right now. There's not many players at the moment that is sparkling as much as as we should. But someone could take that spotlight and feel like a bloody hero on that pitch, but no one wants to take it. And we had Harry Kane.
Anyway.
No, Harry Kane was our hero all those years, and now he's gone. It's like the space is free, and nobody seems to want to take it. Nobody wants to be out there and being like,
we always thought as well, like in that time that when he left, it'd be Sonny, like because we know even when Kane was there, Sonny was that guy. Sonny would take the shining off of Harry Kane at times. He'd be like, nah, it's not you, it's me today.
Yeah,
but Sonny, like, he cries after game. Like, bless him. But Sonny cries after the games. Like, again, I love Sonny. I have so much time for him. He's a Spurs legend in my eyes because I suppose in both our lives, probably been one of the players that have been here for the longest, scored the most. Literally, there's only 15 players in Premier League history that have scored more goals than him. Like, Sonny is a bona fide top player. But
100%.
When you want to rely on him at this moment in time, when Spurs are in a bad run, it's like Sonny's the one player you can't look at. His head's down. He hasn't got the confidence himself. He's just coming out and saying like we need a wake up call. This is a wake up call. I'm sorry, and he's apologizing to the fans. Like, it's just not enough.
It's the same thing. It's the same interview. You know what, with Sonny, I generally feel like I love him like so much. I could never say a bad word about him, but the performance is never. It's not as good as like we've seen in the past. We know exactly what he can do. I mean, that relationship with him and Harry Kane, it was just absolutely stunning. And I feel sad because he's not got that anymore. And, he's now come in and they've made him, I feel like the pressure's been massively on him ever since Harry Kane's left. And he must be absolutely like exhausted as well. I just feel like someone's just like sucked the life out of him. Like, that's how I feel with Sonny right now. I feel like someone's literally sucked the life out of him. Tottenham's done that to him. And, I don't even think that's just Andrew. I think that's just the whole club in general. I really do. And I truly feel sorry for him. And this is why we needed to sign people who was going to help him as well, because he's had Harry Kane all that time. So yeah, it's not been great to see him this season, and I hate it when he gets slaughtered, because to me he just does not deserve it for what he has done for us as a club. And I've always said it as well. If there was always a player that I would love to see win a trophy at Tottenham, it would always be Sonny, and I'll say that over Harry Kane as well. There's just something different with Sonny. I feel like he generally actually does love the club. He's always been very passionate about it. He's been passionate about the fans as well. And that's, I feel like he's a bit more closer with us. So yeah, it's such a shame to see. And I just hope, I don't even know. I just hope to see a trophy that he wins with us at Tottenham. I really do.
See, it could be his last 6 months in a Spurs shirt. A lot of rumors going around that he could be on his way out in the summer. Obviously, he has a 1-year extension onwards from that. And to be fair, I have also seen rumors that Spurs are looking to potentially extend that contract because they may want him to see out the rest of his career here. But I think one thing that is apparent is we need someone to replace him to take the load off him. And maybe if he comes off the bench, like we saw even against Bournemouth, it was like he was a bit bright. It was like he's one of the players that are coming off and giving us an option. I think he can still have contribution. He shouldn't be relied upon, and that's where the main issue is at this moment. But there is a question here, actually. Good one from Estot. Shout out to you. Would you take Eze over Madders? Would you would that
I
be a
love
replacement?
Eze. Yeah, I would. I definitely would. I think I love Eze. I wanted him last season.
Last season, yeah.
I was funny because I've got a friend that I've told you who actually works for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And she's really close with the Palace players, and I've been texting her constantly. Give him a hint. Please get him to come to us. Give him a pen and just sign something.
Crystal Palace might
Literally.
finish above us, Christina. It might
Oh
not
my
be.
God.
It might not be.
I mean, their performance. I don't know what's happened with Palace because at the beginning of the season they were terrible. Now they've just flipped it, and they're performing really good at the moment. Really good football from Palace. It's crazy to actually see that, but fair play to them. I mean, because I thought, after what's his name that left Palace?
The player Zaha. Oh no, Elise.
No, Elise. That's it.
That's it.
I thought when he went, I thought Eze's going to be quiet now, and that's what happened at the beginning of the season, and now things have completely turned. And fair play to them because I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do overtake us at some point. Then they've never been a good team, an easy team to play. Tottenham, obviously, but yeah, I would take Eze. I 100% would. I feel like, he is a Tottenham player to me. He's more of a Tottenham player to me than Maddison is.
They're very similar. That's one thing for me. They're literally very similar with the way that they play. They both like to sort of drift off to the left. They both like to get on the ball, run at their players. I think one thing that I'd give Eze more, maybe, but the thing is, I don't know if it's because he's at Palace, is he takes the mantle to carry and do everything for them. But I feel like that might be because he's at Palace. He knows it's a small club. He has to. And like I said, without Elise, it's like Eze, you're the only guy to step up because you've got Adam Wharton, or they signed Ismaila Sarr and Mateta, who are doing their thing, but they're only doing their thing because Eze is providing the chances. Yeah. So I was really upset going back to last season, like when we didn't get Eze. I was like, he's our number one choice. Why? We were briefed all June, all July. Eze's coming Spurs. Eze's gonna come Spurs. We didn't even put in a bid. So yeah, no,
there was nothing. It was just rumors, wasn't it? And it was really weird because my friend said to me, apparently, Eze did go up to her and he said, "Oh, are you gonna miss our banter when I'm gone?" And when she told me that, I was like, "Oh, something might be happening there." But no, he's stayed there, obviously.
I think it was to be fair, I do think it was a case of maybe he wanted to leave, but maybe no club had.
Maybe.
You know what Crystal Palace are like? Horrible to negotiate with. It's just like Tottenham. Steve Parish is a nightmare to negotiate with. So it's probably a case of, because apparently we bid 70 million for Mark Gahey, which I think is a load of rubbish. But if we did, I can imagine him, because he done it the whole of summer. He wanted 75, 80 million. Newcastle bid in 50s, 60s, and they were just a nightmare to negotiate with. So it would make sense. That we don't that we tried, or we had some talks and it just got shut down straight away. But bringing it back to, of course, the game to tomorrow and the expectation, you obviously said that confident that we can win, but at the same time just want to see a good performance. Do you think we can do enough to get through, not just win the game, because obviously they're 1-0 up, so we need to either win 2-0 or 3-1 to go through? Do you think we will do enough to get through into the quarterfinals? And if we do, can we do anything in this competition? Could this be our year?
Oh my God, it's so hard to predict Tottenham right now. It is ridiculous. I mean, freaking hell, it's so difficult to even answer that question. Do you know what it is as well? Our players are not as bad as we're actually what we should be witnessing right now. That's what what I find so frustrating. You know, we've actually got some class players at our club, but they're making themselves look worse than what they should be. It's just ridiculous. If the players literally just buckle up, actually say to themselves, "We want to win this. Let's go for it." I do think we should be doing it. Of course we can do it. Why should we not? Unless, of course, we're going to just be Tottenham. It's so difficult. Because in my heart, like, I just know that we should be able to do it. It's like I said, like with this Europa League, the whole thing, we've got such a good chance to actually go through and, you know, get ourselves into the final. But it's just the way we are at the moment. It's so difficult. And we've played some big games like with Liverpool, Man City, and we've beaten them weirdly. Like it's crazy to look back and actually say this season to actually say that we've won a lot of these big games. You know, and tomorrow is just going to be it's literally going to be make or break for me. I don't know if you feel like it's going to be make or break for Ange himself.
Do you know what it is though? I don't know. You're probably the same as me. Like, because I turned on Ange after we went out in Carabao Cup and FA Cup. I was like, all right, I've seen enough. Like, you're not gonna win nothing in your second season. I've seen enough. Like after that game, because again, the performance, like it wasn't even the result; it was the performances in those games that worried me more than anything. Like there was no fight at all from the players. Like Aston Villa, we deserved to lose 5 or 6-0. Like we should have got battered, but somehow we walked away with 2-1. But when you say, going back to it, like it's just, and will it be his last game? I don't think so. I've literally at this point, and I think a lot of fans got to it. Like we're Ange out, but I don't think the club is Ange out. So what can we do? Like the club looks more than anything that they're getting behind Ange, and I don't know if they're waiting till we go out in this competition to then sack him because they don't want the fallout of what happened with Jose. But at the same time, I'm not being funny. Like he's nowhere near. He isn't Jose. Like Ange hasn't proven anything to us to show that he is going to win this trophy. He doesn't look like he's got the team behind his back right now. If we go out, which I think we might not go out tomorrow, but we're gonna go out eventually. I don't have no confidence in us going against Frankfurt in the next round or going to Lazio, because the problem isn't the home games. Like I say, I think we can win the home games. I think we'll probably get through these games, winning a 2-1, 1-0, maybe even like 3-2. Like we'll have a very close home game, but manage to get through. But the away games, the performances are near to nothing. It's like the players go there, they show up, and it's historically been a problem at Spurs. It's not just under Ange, but historically, we all remember Dynamo Zagreb. That was dark days on Clubhouse. I can tell you that. Me and Christina were there together in the rooms. Dynamo Zagreb, yeah. Like that is, I mention it so often on this channel about that game because that game is PTSD to me. Like, 2-0 up into a game like this, and still Spurs somehow, some way find a way to break you down. So like when I look at this, I'm just like, Ange's probably not going to get sacked despite the results of any of this competition. The only point he may get sacked is at the end of the season if they realize that there's a better manager available. But who that manager is going to be is an even bigger question.
Because you know what, we have plenty of conversations about this, like you know, just with my friends and that, and they're all Ange out, whatever. But I'm like, I get that, but who would you replace? And no one can actually give me an answer. I can't even answer that question, to be honest, either. I don't really know what manager is available now. And even
there's so many of us here, man. Trust me.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. We're all here. We're all feeling the pain, man. But you know, I think it's so difficult in Premier League at the moment, and I'm seeing Pochettino walking down my high street. You know, he's here. He's back in London for some reason. Don't think he lives that far from me, but you know, even so, if we bring Poch back, would it make much difference? Like, I don't know. I
can't do it. I'll be honest. That's like I can't do it. Like that to me, it was like seeing your ex with someone you hate. Like I can't go back after that. Like you're in my book a big fat ex. No, like I couldn't even consider Poch. And as much as some people think, oh, that's semantics, you're doing a bit too much. He was only there for a year because he didn't have a job. All right, cool. Like, so what if no other man wanted her? There's so many other ones that you could have chose apart from that one. Just don't go over there.
With Poch, though, you can't deny the fact, as a Tottenham fan, he probably gave us, you know, I'm 33. How old are you? Like,
you're 26 this year.
You're 26, you know. He gave us probably the best feeling, you know, to witness as a Tottenham fan, without a doubt. But people forget afterwards how rubbish it was, you know, after that Champions League final. The season after, it was absolutely terrible. But at the same time, I can understand it because, you know, we had no backup. And again, it roots to the same problem. It's the people that are higher up. And we had a huge opportunity there. Again, we got ourselves into the final. We thought, you know what? Here's a manager. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to bring in, we've got these younger players. He's brought them back up, and we've got Harry Kane. We've got Sonny here. It's brilliant football. Eric Dyer, we had all these players, and we had that opportunity, and we didn't even back. We didn't back at all. We didn't bring anybody special. It was a huge opportunity for us, and we we just crumbled it. And then, it just turned out to be dull. It was really, really dull, and people forget actually how bad it was. After that season back under Poch. But everyone's going to remember the really good times, because it was the best for me as a Tottenham fan. It was absolutely the best. I still to this day, when I'm a bit down, I'll go ahead and watch the highlights of that Champions League. But
oh yeah, no. Sometimes just gotta go watch like Lucas Moura. I literally like that's one of those moments I can remember exactly what I was doing, like running around in my front room, going mental. Yeah, when he scored those goals.
Oh man, ridiculous.
Big up Hooks for the raid, though. Big up Hooks for the raid, sending his people over here. Durag Diaries, you already know where it is. Make sure you smash the likes on the way in if you haven't already. Oh wait, what's going on with my mouse? Oh crap! Am I still on screen?
You are.
Oh, I am. Yeah, my mouse just closed everything down on my screen, so I just had a window. Yeah, big up to everyone that's come over from here. And as Fans on TV says, great raid, great guest. Big up to Christina for coming on the show. We got just last final thing before we do head out. What's your score prediction for tomorrow?
No,
it's the score prediction. I know you hate score predictions, but we've got to go into it. We got to buy ourselves back in, and maybe Spurs are going to do something. What's your thoughts?
Okay, right. Well, it's not if it's going to be a prediction of what I pray it will be tomorrow. So I think, well, we've got to win it. It's at home. I mean, they're not a bad team, but we should be better than them. I'm going to say 2-0 Tottenham. Because even if I just realised, if it's 2-1, that could go to extra time, right? Still.
Yeah, 2-1 will go to extra time.
So we literally need to get a clean sheet, pretty much. That's what I feel. That's what is the issue with tomorrow, is the fact that we need to get a clean sheet, and I don't trust Tottenham with getting a clean sheet at all.
So I'm good.
Well, no, that's the thing. Yeah, but it's more like hoping that we play.
It's a copium, isn't it? We're trying to cope and hope that we can score a few goals.
I mean, because I was going to say 2-1, but then, yeah.
We can't. No, that's the thing. We literally can't.
We can't even get that.
The game has to end. I would agree. I think 2-0 is a good scoreline. I'm going to go 3-1, though. I feel like we're just not going to... I think it might go 2-1, go into extra time, and Spurs get the last goal in extra time, and we get the third. But I do think it's going to be a tough game, because obviously Danso's out. I don't think that he's going to start both of Romero and Van de Ven. It would be risky, definitely, to throw them both in, knowing that they're injured. I think we might... Obviously, Davies is back from injury, apparently. I don't know if he's actually fit to play, but I know he's back from injury, so he could be in the squad. But I would not be surprised.
I've missed him. And it's mad to say that, isn't it? I've missed Ben Davies.
Yeah, I was literally on with Mr. Box Office yesterday. He's going, Ben Davies is our best centre-back this year. I was like, he's not, but I can understand why people say that, because no one's been good.
He's had an impact.
And he's had an impact. He has had a strong impact. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to predict 3-1. Somehow, some way, Spurs are going to pull through. I think that it's going to be a tight game still, very tight one, but I just don't want to see Archie Gray at the back. That's one thing. I just don't want to see Archie Gray at the back. But is he going to do it? It's very likely Ange does. Ange is one guy that he likes to do the same things over and over. He doesn't like difference to change things up. And so, yeah, no, I would expect that. But Hooks said I ignored your question. No, what was your question? Is Christina Ange? No. See, if you was watching from it now, you was watching the Arsenal game, so I allow you. But Christina is also Ange out with There's only a few Ange in fans. Luke, we had him on yesterday. Luke's Ange in. We're gonna try and get another show. Maybe we do a show like this with Luke to get into the deeper details of why he's still Ange in. Because
the thing is with me though, I'm not shouting out that I'm Ange out. I'm just like, I'm just done. That's
just
how
done.
I feel.
Yeah.
I'm just done.
Yeah.
You know, and I've always supported Ange, and you know, I still do as a manager. I hope the best for him, whatever, you know, in future, whatever happens. But it's just not working. It's just not working. You know, we've given him I feel like we've given him, you know, the time now, and you know, our players are now back, and it's just still not working, and therefore, yeah, I'm done with it.
I think that's where, yeah, most of us are there. All these people in the chat are just trolls. These are all like rival fans sitting there saying, I'm Ange. Most of you guys are not even Tottenham fans. I think the only guy that's a Tottenham fan that said he's Ange is S. I think he's a Tottenham fan, but everyone else, everyone else, all you guys are frauds. And obviously, Ashley's just the biggest troll. Manager he's Ashley like is in the chat every day defending Ange, but at the same time he'll say it's not. I'm not Ange in. I'm not Ange out. I'm just. Oh, what is the players? He's just a waffler. That's what you are, Ashley. You're just an elite waffler. But
poor guy.
You always checked in. So I appreciate it. And also, Ashley Film, I don't know what dog I rescued. You maybe got the wrong Jords, but if you were just trying to do one, I definitely didn't rescue your dog. Let's have it right. I definitely didn't rescue your dog, bro. But any final words, Christina? Any final words? I suppose where can they find you? Because I know a lot of people they were impressed with the performance today. They want to know where else they can follow you to see a bit more.
I mean, I'm just on X pretty much. That's at Christina Zandes. That's literally where I am.
I've got that in the description, by the way, people. So you can go in the description and get to the X account. And also, like she says, last word on Spurs. She's an occasional appearance. She makes an appearance.
I'm a regular, but I have been quite quiet recently. And I think it's just because with the situation with Tottenham at the moment, it's hard to discuss Spurs at the moment. So, yeah, I'm just hoping, you know, we start to perform a lot better, and you know, we can talk about something a lot more positive. It is quite difficult to be able to, you know, sit here and discuss how bad it has been, but you know, as fans, that's football fans. That's what you do. You've got to be through the good and the hard, you know, and the hard times as well. So, yeah,
good times. That's where you find me. So it's like a marriage, really, man. Tough. It's like a marriage till death do us apart. Innit? That is it with our football club. And it's not a good one. I'll tell you that with Spurs. It's definitely not a good one. We're just working it out constantly. It's just always like a bit toxic, but it's working itself out. Like somehow we stayed together for so long. I don't know. But no, guys, look, big up to everyone that has tuned in and locked in. We're definitely going to have Christina back on the channel. Make 100%. Sure you like the video if you haven't already. You know what? Let me quickly see if there is anyone live that I can send you over to, because I think Spurs Kings TV are going to be going live. So if you guys want to see more football talk, more Spurs talk, I don't know why my mouse is playing up. We're going to send you over to Spurs Kings TV. Let me just find their live.
Great, guys. They're brilliant.
Yes, you obviously got Ash Marlon. They've got their rival show today. I might make an appearance, but it'll be a different Jords appearing that day, because if we're around rivals, then the chests are like this. So we got to make that very clear. But yeah, no, big up to everyone that's tuned in. This has been another Durag Diaries, and yeah, man, we're out.